welcome to all present here today for the ChangeMaker20 Summit, where visionaries and change agents unite to catalyze global transformation. Through collaboration and innovation, we embark on a journey to address challenges, inspire action, and forge a path to a brighter tomorrow. Together, we shape the future we aspire to see. Distinguished guests and esteemed participants, I am Anupma Thakur. With great pleasure, I introduce you to our esteemed speaker, Mr. Neeraj Trivedi, a PhD holder in plant biotechnology from Banaras Hindu University. He is a versatile researcher. His expertise lies in molecular markers for significant plant traits. Presently a fellow at TERI, Gurugram, he boasts 15 plus years in genetic diversity, population development, and QTL mapping. Notable projects funded by the Science and Engineering Research Board, India, unveiled disease resistance in chili crops. Neeraj spearheads GBS-based genetic diversity analysis in medicinal plants and wasteland reclamation initiatives, publishing extensively. His supervisory roles encompass anthracone disease research and bioefficacy testing. Over to you, Mr. Neeraj.
Hello everyone, I am Dr. Neeraj Trivedi working in Sustainable Agriculture Division of TERI. Here we are a team of scientists working in interdisciplinary areas of research. We provide innovative solutions for sustainable agriculture. I am very honored and feel privileged to get this opportunity to share my thoughts about regenerative agriculture, a vision for net zero agriculture in this important ChangeMaker20 Summit. As we all know that agriculture contributes more than 24% of total GHG emission. More than that, Indian agricultural farms are increasingly staring at a crisis, with over 29% of India's total geographical area being degraded, roughly 2.5 times the size of India's largest state, which is Rajasthan. The number highlights the stiff challenge India must face to achieve its target of becoming land degradation neutral by 2030, as announced by our Honorable Prime Minister in September 2019 at the UN Convention to Combat Desertification. There is a scientific fact that it can take 500 to 1000 years for 1 inch of topsoil to be formed. This is the upper layer of soil containing the most organic matter and microorganisms. Soil erosion has always occurred naturally, but today topsoil loss from erosion due to agriculture surpasses the rate of soil formation. That's why our lands are being degraded day by day. Agriculture is the most dominant contributor to water stress also. And as much as 91% of our fresh water is now being used in the agriculture sector. To make matter worse, India faces a severe crisis. Almost 17 states have been categorized as overexploited, where the annual groundwater extraction is more than the annual extractable groundwater resource. According to Flankmark Water Stress Index, about 76% of Indians face water scarcity, and agriculture is the most dominant contributor to water stress. As as much as 91% of our fresh water is being used in the agriculture sector. So far, all the wins for doubling the farmer's income could be undone by the growing ecological poverty, which is the lack of an ecologically healthy natural resource base that is needed for a human society for survival and development. The Indian smallholder farmers constitute 86% of the farmers in the country, with an average land holding of 1.08 hectares only. They are most vulnerable to ecological poverty. In the last 2 decades, India's agriculture sector has suffered negative total revenues. The small size and low profitability do not allow smallholder farmers to deploy relevant technologies to fight climate change Instead, they are forced to increase yield through unsustainable practices like deforestation, overgrazing, intensive soil tillage, monoculture cropping, and heavy reliance on the use of chemical fertilizer, pesticides, and fungicides, etc. These practices damage the microorganism which makes the soil fertile and carbon rich. So, what is the solution? A consensus is emerging among soil scientists that regenerative agriculture holds enormous potential to restore soil health and productivity in degraded landscapes while delivering financial benefits to smallholder farmers. It also improves water use efficiency by enhancing the health and nutrient holding capacity of the soil. Studies have established that 1% increase in soil organic matter per zero point 0.4 hectare, which is 1 acre land, increases the water storage potential by more than 75,000 liters. There is now evidence from long-term field experiment globally that proves regenerative agricultural practices can significantly increase soil organic carbon stocks. Our government of India, as part of its climate commitment, has begun promoting several regenerative agricultural principles through National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture. The government of India, as part of its climate commitment, has begun promoting several regenerative agriculture principles through National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture. So while I'm talking so much about regenerative agriculture, we must understand that what is regenerative agriculture and what is regenerative agricultural practices. So, if we talk about regenerative agriculture, it is a holistic and sustainable approach to farming and land management that focuses on restoring and improving the health of ecosystem, soil, and biodiversity. This approach seeks to go beyond just sustaining the existing state of the environment and aims to actively enhance its natural processes. So now we know that in regenerative agriculture, our aim is to improve soil health and reduce the greenhouse gas emission. So now the question is, what is regenerative agricultural practices? So yes, there is number of interventions that we need to adopt in place of our conventional agricultural practices. And this adoption is not going to be easy as it has certain initial disadvantages and it also involves some cost which could be offset in short term only. Mainly regenerative agricultural practices comprises zero tillage or reduced tillage practices, then biodiversification, minimizing chemical inputs, climate resilient varieties, integration of livestock, water increasing the water use efficiency, or you can say water management, then utilizing the carbon credit voluntary market, then digitalization of agriculture. So we will talk about one by one each intervention like zero tillage or reduced tillage. It is also called as conservation agriculture or conservation tillage. This is a farming practice that involves minimizing or eliminating the plowing and turning of soil between planting seasons. This approach has gained popularity due to its potential benefit for soil health, water conservation, and overall sustainability. However, it also presents certain challenges. Here are some advantages and disadvantages we'll talk about. So, advantages is reduced tillage helps maintain the structure and composition of the soil. By disturbing the soil less, its natural aggregates and microbiota remains intact, leading to improved nutrient retention, water infiltration, and overall soil health. Tillage can expose soil to wind and water erosion. So, zero tillage reduces the erosion of the soil also. Preserving valuable topsoil. Reduced tillage allow for greater organic matter accumulation in the soil. These organic matters act as a carbon sink, helping to sequester carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and contribute to climate change mitigation. Less disturbance of the soil reduces water runoff and increase water infiltration also. This can help conserve water resources and improve soil moisture retention, especially in regions prone to drought. Traditional tillage method require significant energy inputs also. So reduced tillage reduces the need for heavy machinery and fuels, leading to energy saving and reduced greenhouse gas emission. It also saves time and labor efficiency. Reduced tillage can be less labor intensive and time consuming compared to conventional tillage, as it involves fewer passes over the field with machinery. So there are some disadvantages also of zero tillage or reduced tillage. First of all is the weed management. Reduced tillage can lead to an increase in certain type of weeds that thrives in undisturbed soil. To avoid this, we need to follow alternate weed management strategies such as cover cropping and crop rotation. Then disease and pest pressure also increases with zero tillage. So some pests and diseases may thrive in the residue left on the soil surface under reduced tillage system. Proper management practices are necessary to mitigate these risks. Reduced residue management is also get tougher with reduced tillage because leaves crop residue on the soil surface which can interfere with planting and cultivation. Effective residue management techniques are required to ensure proper seed to soil contact and uniform plant growth. This transition from conventional tillage to reduced or no tillage can be very challenging also. It may take time for soil health to improve and for farmers to adopt their practices and equipment to the new approaches. Some initial cost may be incurred because transitioning to reduced tillage may require investment in few equipment or modification to existing machinery. However, these costs can be offset by long-term saving in fuel, labor, and machinery maintenance. If we talk about yield variability, in some cases, reduced tillage might initially result in variable yields, especially in proper management practices are not followed. However, over time, yield tend to be stabilized as soil health improves. In summary, reduced or no tillage can offer numerous benefits for soil health, water conservation, and sustainability. However, it requires careful management and adoption to local conditions to address the potential challenges and ensure successful implementation. Then coming to biodiversification, or we can say biodiversity enhancement, and using climate resilient varieties. So, encouraging the diversity of plant and animal species on farms helps create more resilient and balanced ecosystem. This can involve planting a variety of crops, reintroducing native plants, and providing habitat for beneficial insects and wildlife. Therefore, instead of monoculture, farmers should diversify their farming by cultivating local land races and underutilized crops, which not only makes them tolerant to different stresses but also leads to future food and nutritional security. Crop biodiversity is an important component of total biological diversity that has a crucial role in sustaining and strengthening food and nutritional security. In the course of genetic improvement, yield level of most stable crops have reached to a plateau due to the narrow genetic base in the crops. To widen the genetic base, For further improvement, there is a need to collect, characterize, and conserve crop biodiversity, particularly for local land races and wild species. Besides modernizing our crop improvement through precision breeding. Then minimizing chemical inputs. This is very important part of regenerative agriculture practices, which aims to reduce and eliminate the use of synthetic fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, etc. Instead, it promotes natural method of pest control like attracting beneficial insects and birds. We can use biofertilizers also. Biofertilizers are organic products containing life beneficial microorganisms that enhance soil fertility and promote plant growth by increasing nutrient availability and nutrient uptake by the plant. They are used as a sustainable alternate to chemical fertilizers, which can have negative environmental impact. Biofertilizers work in synergy with plant and soil to improve soil structure, nutrient cycle, and overall soil growth. There are different type of biofertilizers like nitrogen fixing biofertilizers. Some examples are rhizobium, azotobacter, azoospermillum. These bacteria form a symbiotic relationship with leguminous plants or directly fix atmospheric nitrogen into plant available form. Then phosphate solubilizing biofertilizers are there. It contain microorganisms like phosphate solubilizing bacteria and fungi that convert insoluble phosphates into soluble forms, making them easier for the plants to absorb. Then potassium mobilizing biofertilizers are also there. These microorganisms releases organic acids that helps solubilizing potassium from minerals in the soil, improving its availability to plants. Then some PGPR rhizobacteria also can be used. These bacteria enhance plant growth through various mechanisms, such as producing growth hormones, improving nutrient availability, and suppressing pathogenic microorganisms. Then mycorrhizal biofertilizers are also there. So TERI has working in this area from a long time, and we have more than 450 different strain of mycorrhizal fungi. This is so these contain beneficial fungi called mycorrhizae that form symbiotic association with plant roots. They improve nutrient and water uptake and enhance plant tolerance to various stresses. The use of biofertilizers such as mycorrhizae activity increase water uptake by developing a network of filaments that explore the soil and access more nutrient and water to the plant. Mycorrhizal hyphae have a absorptive area that is approximately 10 times more efficient than root hairs and approximately 100 times more efficient than roots. Biofertilizer contributes to sustainable agriculture by reducing the need for synthetic fertilizers, improving soil health, and supporting environmental conservation. Then, in place of conventional fertilizer, in regenerative agriculture, we can use nanofertilizers. Nanofertilizers are a type of fertilizers prepared through nanotechnology applications where nano-sized particles are used to deliver nutrients to the plants. These nanoparticles are engineered to have specific properties that is enhance nutrient uptake, increase nutrient use efficiency, and reduce environmental losses. Nanofertilizers can be designed to release nutrients slowly over time, reducing the need for frequent fertilization. They also have the potential to target specific plant tissues or root zones, optimizing nutrient delivery. And in comparison with conventional fertilizer, the amount of nanofertilizers is very less. So these are the key advantages of nanofertilizers, which also includes that it minimizes the nutrient leaching and runoff, decreasing the pollution of water bodies and groundwater with excess nutrient. It also can be designed to release nutrient in a controlled manner, ensuring that plants receive nutrients when and where they are needed. Slow release properties of nanofertilizers can lead to longer lasting effect, reducing the need for frequent fertilization. However, there are also concerns associated with nanofertilizers. The potential environment and health impacts of nanoparticles are not fully understood. There are concerns about their potential to accumulate in soil and water ecosystem or enter in the food chain also. There is some regulatory challenges also. That regulation of nanotechnology application in agriculture is complex due to potential risk and uncertainties. Clear guidelines are needed to ensure that safe and responsible use of nanofertilizers. So in both cases, in case of biofertilizer as well as nanofertilizers, it's very important to carefully evaluate the benefit and potential risk of using biofertilizers and nanofertilizers, and to consider local soil and environmental condition also before their widespread adoption. Then coming to integration of livestock is another intervention of regenerative agriculture. It is incorporating animals into farming system. It can have positive impact on soil health and nutrient cycle. Uh, Managed properly, livestock can help fertilize the soil through their manure and contribute to healthier landscapes. Coming to the water management practices, this is also a part of regenerative practices focused on optimized water use through techniques like rainwater harvesting, improved irrigation method, and reduced soil erosion to preserve water quality and availability. Then carbon sequestration. This is one of the significant goal of regenerative agriculture is to sequester carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and store it in the soil and plants. This can help mitigate climate change by reducing greenhouse gas levels, and it also provide financial support to the farmers. So local and community involvement is also very important when we talk about regenerative agriculture. So it fosters local food system and community engagement. This can include direct to customer sales, farmer markets, and community supported agriculture, which is CSA initiatives. So nowadays there is much debate is going on soil carbon credits through regenerative agriculture. So, as we all know, a carbon credit is a certificate equivalent to 1 ton of carbon that permits the emission of 1 ton of greenhouse gases per certificate. But some studies doubt the durability of soil organic carbon and challenge, which is satellite based measurement techniques. Some suggest that sequestering carbon by agroforestry is more foolproof method than SOC. But such critics need to pay attention to several scientific papers that establish an estimated potential of 1.5 gigatons of carbon per year for cropland sequestration globally, or approximately 55 gigatons CO2 over a mid-range saturation period of 35 to 40 years. The potential for carbon removal increases further if practices like composting, municipal food waste, tree cropping, other cropland buffers, pasture restoration, or biochar are also included in this calculation. Regenerative agriculture, and should play a significant role in tackling climate change with the potential to remove 100 to 200 gigaton CO2 by the end of this century, which is several times more than the present level of emission. So, how do small Indian farmers benefit from regenerative agriculture? So, there are four fundamental benefits for Indian small farmers opting for carbon sequestration using regenerative agricultural practices. Firstly, soil organic carbon helps restore degraded soils using less water, improving farmers' agricultural productivity while reducing cost due to reduced use of fertilizers and pesticides chemicals. Secondly, healthier soil make farms more resilient against drought and heavy rainfall. Then, thirdly, the process can generate additional income from the rapidly expanding voluntary carbon market. So many FMCG companies are asking farmers nowadays to suppliers to adopt target to cut emission using regenerative agriculture and prioritizing partnership with new suppliers who already have regenerative practices in place. As per our field analysis, smallholder farmers in India can potentially sequester 1 ton of CO2 to 4 ton of CO2 by adopting regenerative practices on only 1 acre of land. Per ton of carbon today is priced around 1500 to 2500, which could be a significant revenue source for the farmers. Fourthly, many FMCG companies are asking farmers suppliers to adopt targets to cut emission using regenerative agriculture and prioritizing new suppliers. So, Asia's field experience with this certification supporting more than 30,000 cotton smallholder farmers in Vidarbha, Maharashtra dispelled the myth that regenerative agriculture reduces yield. In 2020-22, the project achieved a 20 to 30% increase in the yield and 30% reduction in input cost and 3% price premium from the market. Similar results were witnesses in pilots and palm oil smallholders in Malaysia, Indonesia, and in India also. Sugar, soya, and coffee smallholders in India and mango farmers in Bangladesh. So there is some hurdles also when we talk about regenerative agriculture, and what are the potential solutions. So we also need to talk about that. So at present, much interest in regenerative agriculture is driven by the high carbon price in the European Union that hits 100 euros per ton earlier this year. The most emitters have to pay the European Union carbon permits to cover each ton of CO2 they produce. The greater the incentive to invest in low carbon farming methods like regenerative agriculture, the annual demand for voluntary carbon credits in India is expected to touch 500 million tons CO2 by 2030. However, there are some potential challenges which could derail this positive movement. First, it is necessary to recognize that farmers are the producers and owners of carbon. There should be mechanisms for trading in SOC using the principle of fair trade that calculate a minimum price that ensure the average cost of the project will be covered. Plus an additional benefit which is fair trade premium that also should go directly to the local community to fund activities that help them become more resilient through regenerative agriculture. These subsidies for smallholder farmers could be extended to certification bodies enrolled with the Quality Council of India, the national accrediting body for certification in India. Second thing is, in August 2022, India revised its carbon credit policy to ban the export of carbon credit. As per the new policy, carbon credit are not going to be exported. So these credit will have to be generated by domestic companies, bought by a domestic company. Such a policy would limit the option for smallholder farmers. These farmers took lower price for decades to keep the consumer prices stable and were not allowed to export food at higher prices. If we stop them from storing carbon on their land and export at least part of the carbon in the form of carbon credit at higher price, they will lose out again. And third one is the government may consider a scheme like Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana to be extended to regenerative agriculture farmers also. The certification cost for regenerative agriculture and carbon verification are steep. The subsidy for smallholder farmers could be extended to certification bodies enrolled with the Quality Council of India, the national accreditation body for certification in India. The fourth one is the mushrooming of different regenerative standard can derail the credibility of the regenerative agriculture movement and affect smallholder farmers. So there is a necessity for urgently developing a set of common values for regenerative agriculture standard, their certification, protocols, system and tools with a focus on the positive impact on farmers as well as climate. So, if we need to conclude, so climate change mitigation, food security, climate resilience, biodiversity, and soil health all are interrelated, and these could be collectively achieved through regenerative agriculture. In this COVID affected decade, Indian agriculture stakeholders must redesign agriculture in this way it was done in 1960s, which ushered in the Green Revolution. We don't have much time to regenerate and revive our soil and avoid the depletion of water resources. On the other hand, regenerative agriculture is also good for the people, the planet, and profit also.
So we have few questions in the chat box.
Okay.
Allow me to ask.
Yeah.
Okay. So first, Ritik, he is asking that how can regenerative agriculture improve soil health and fertility over time?
Yeah, so as I have described that we need to actually implement these regenerative agricultural practices like zero tillage, like minimizing the use of fertilizer, chemical fertilizers, pesticides, fungicides, weedicides. So it will definitely improve over the soil health will definitely improve over time. So this is why we are promoting this thing.
Okay. Next question we have, what challenges or barriers might farmers face when transitioning to regenerative agriculture practices?
Yeah, farmers actually they need to have some benefit. If farmers will get carbon credit doing implementing regenerative agricultural practices, they will be more than happy because their soil is also getting revived. Their yield is not getting affected, and they are getting additional income. So that's the benefits.
Adopting agroforestry is good for sustainable agriculture.
Yeah, this is also an intervention, you can say. It's a part of regenerative agriculture. It's a part of the smart agriculture practices. So adoption of agroforestry, like for the protection of your crop, like border cropping, it's very important, and it also provides nutritional benefits and additional income to the farmers also.
Okay. Next question is, what opportunities does net zero agriculture present for job creation and rural development?
Yeah, actually, this voluntary carbon market is becoming reality day by day. So it will create more jobs and opportunity to do the offset projects, to do the project with this farmers group. So it will create lot of job opportunities, and it is win-win situation for all the stakeholders like farmers, like for employees, for environment, for everything. So we need to promote this.
Okay, last question we have: how long does it take for one to see improvement in soil integrity?
Yeah, I think if these regenerative agricultural practices properly implemented in a farmland, I think after 2 years you can see the improvement in soil carbon. You will see the all the indexes of fertility, soil fertility will increase, and the water use efficiency and the yield. It will after I think 4 cropping season you can see the effect of regenerative agricultural practices.
So, thank you so much, Dr. Neeraj, for defining regenerative agriculture practices, a vision for net zero agriculture, and the digitalization of farming systems through new technologies. On behalf of our team, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you for gracing us with your presence at this wonderful and enlightening session. It has been a truly inspiring and informative session. Thank you so much, Dr. Neeraj.
Thank you, Arundhama.